Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell the truth about silver. Today is Thursday, the 21st of October, 2021. And we're producing our Thursday morning gold and silver price update, forecast and daily news. This morning we can see gold and silver furthering their rise, with silver outperforming gold. So one may describe today as illustrious. Let's see why. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Thursday, the 21st of October, 2021 at 09:30 a.m. GMT plus 1. The weather outside. Illustrious. Yes, the skies are clear and the sun is already out. It's going to be an illustrious day, as it was yesterday, for cryptocurrency owners, where we saw the crypto market top $2.7 trillion as the rally reaches beyond Bitcoin, according to Bloomberg. Yes, indeed. We have been banging on about cryptocurrencies being a threat to the gold and silver markets in terms of investment monies. Well, there's now $2.7 trillion in an alternative form to traditional equities and bonds, much of which could have gone into gold and silver. And let's just take a very quick look at what's happening with Bitcoin as it reached all-time highs. There's elation and there's euphoria, and then there's the unrestrained rapture that descends upon Bitcoin's emboldened bulls whenever the cryptocurrency soars to a fresh record. Bitcoin was holding at about $64,650 as of 11:30 a.m. in Hong Kong, trading on Thursday after rocketing to a fresh record overnight. The largest digital currency touched a high of almost $67,000 on Wednesday, galvanized by the successful launch of the first US Bitcoin Futures Exchange Traded Fund, the second busiest ETF debut on record, and another step in its evolution from the frontiers of finance towards something with more mainstream appeal. The cryptocurrency has rallied some 120% in 2021, and for some believers, $100,000 is once again in sight. Well, we have to say, the $100,000 is one of the more bearish forecasts that a number of institutions have given, and even some major banks have forecast Bitcoin reaching $200,000 and $250,000 this year, with one or two lesser-known figures coming out with $350,000. We are more comfortable with the $100,000 figure, and we have to say we were not great advocates of this cryptocurrency in its early days. Why? Because we honestly believed that central banks and governments would prevent its rise, only to prove that now we have banks profiting by creating various futures markets and ETFs for that very coin, which technically threatens the underlying currencies of the world. I believe it will ultimately, but it has that potential. What else is in the news today? Well, Britain's economy finds out what it means to live with COVID. After 19 months spent attempting to ward off COVID-19 while safeguarding jobs and businesses, the UK is heading into winter with a growing problem. The coronavirus is spreading rapidly, just as the economy starts going in the opposite direction. UK cases are accelerating faster than in other Western European nations, while deaths have jumped to their highest since March. Government ministers are having to deny they're planning for a new lockdown. At the same time, economic growth is slowing, inflation is running high, the Bank of England is expected to hike rates soon, and households are facing a cost of living crisis. Aren't most of you listening to this today? Please, you're not living in the United Kingdom. And to boot, it normally rains, but not this morning because of our illustrious weather. Reuters. back to Evergrande. China's Evergrande secures bond extension as chairman foots project bills. It's secured an extension on a defaulted bond, offering rare respite to the developer a day after a deal to sell a $2.6 billion stake in its property services unit failed. Is this just kicking the can down the road, we wonder? More doom and gloom for the United Kingdom. Marmite and PG Tips maker warns of price rises. Consumer goods giant Unilever says high rates of cost inflation will continue into next year. Our major energy companies say abolish the cap. The recent crisis exposes deep flaws in the way the market was structured, the top executive says. Clearly, he wants to put prices higher in order to maintain the profitability of the company. He would argue the survival of that company. Government borrowing actually falls in September. Lower than a year ago, but still the second highest number on record for September. And a bit of good news for Brexiteers. UK agrees free trade deal with New Zealand. In the United States, Donald Trump to launch a rival social media organization. What is this about? Former US President Donald Trump has announced plans to launch a new social media network called Truth Social. He said the platform would stand up to the tyranny of big tech, accusing them of silencing opposing voices in the United States. Interesting, this was threatened when he was even in power. Now it looks like it may come to fruition. Dollar index this morning up today at 93.67, a little bit short of our 94 envisaged sort of mid-range target for the dollar, but nevertheless still moderately strong. Energy prices as a result down $0.50 broadly between Brent and WTI crude, but still well within the $80 bracket per barrel. Equity markets in the US yesterday did very well, broadly up just under 0.5%. Asia Pacific overnight taking a bit of a hit, down 1.8% for the Nikkei, and the Hang Seng down 0.45%. But we can see it's all red today for UK and European markets, down approximately 0.25%. Economic data today, the initial jobless claims, the expectations 300,000. Quite important because it adds to that batch of other economic data such as the non-farm payrolls and the previous ADP report and our weekly jobless claims reports before the Fed makes its decision on tapering on the 3rd of November. And we also have existing home sales and leading economic indicators. And then tomorrow we have our flash manufacturing and services PMIs. Gold prices actually holding strong, up $5 at $17.84. Again, this $1,800 level is within target, but silver's performing even better and is moving into the outer top range of our forecast for the weekend. Still a little bit below. 24.50 was our ultimate top end for this week, and we can see that it's hit 24.49. Now currently standing at 24.22. A great, much needed fillip for the silver market. Cryptocurrencies on a tear. Dipped back a little from yesterday's all-time high, but we now have a market cap of 2.64 trillion. As mentioned, a lot of pundits, we've predicted 2.5 by the end of this month. We've already surpassed that. A lot of pundits are claiming it's going to 3 trillion and then 5 before the end of the year. We shall see if that happens. Bitcoin, 65,000. But Ethereum also jumped. The number 2 cryptocurrency has jumped 8% in the last 24 hours. And what amazes us are these sorts of gains. Baby Bitcoin, which is a meme coin, 781% in a day. Green Moon, 602% in a day. But Infinite X, 1,561%. And there was one yesterday we were going to show you that was up something like 150,000% in a day. You can see where people who are traditional equity speculators may very well be attracted into the crypto sphere. Where do we see gold and silver moving? Well, they're both quite strong, and they seem to be edging up. We don't see any economic news coming out that's really going to bolster it in any way, shape or form. And there is the danger that if the bond pairing does actually, or tapering does actually take place, they could be hit. But meanwhile, there's no news to keep gold and silver prices down at the moment. So it's all down, quite frankly, at this present moment in time, to the strength of the dollar, which in itself, to some degree, is predicated by geopolitical news. Thank you so much for listening. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Have a great day. Have an illustrious day. Until tomorrow. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.